Luna Girl was introduced as a morally gray character on the way to becoming an anti-villain, and the show completely forgot about it. Let's talk about that. I'm Kevin IRL, and today I am going to ramble about a topic I rage about almost every single day: Luna's redemption arc. As many of you know, Luna Girl is my favorite character, not just in PJ Masks, but in all of media ever. It's been nearly 10 years and I have yet to find a character I kin more. I love Luna so much that she's been living in my brain space for the past decade, and you guys know the rest. The reason I became so emotionally attached to Luna is because she had a super compelling story. If you haven't watched the show, Luna Girl is a moon-themed villain based on Sorceline, a witch from the books. While in the books, she's an insomniac who captures the spirit animals because she doesn't have one of her own. In the show, she's portrayed as more of an alien and a petty thief. Aside from the cool character design and a voice that literally makes her entire character, Luna's main power is telekinesis among other things, and her main motivation seems to be boredom due to loneliness. She acts out for attention, steals stuff, reads and paints in her free time, and that's pretty much it. While Luna started out as a villain, however, the show eventually ended up depicting her as something else: an anti-villain. Throughout the show, Luna displays traits uncharacteristic of the other villains, such as teaming up with the PJ Masks and even sometimes hanging out with them. In fact, Luna has had so many morally gray moments that nearly every character is listed as a sometimes ally on her wiki page, and there is even a section listing every episode where she teamed up with the PJs. So obviously, Luna was set up to be a character with a story that went somewhere. Despite lost alien child causes mayhem out of boredom, finds found family ? Being the direction the show was going at the time, this arc ended up completely disintegrating towards the later seasons of the show. The only question is, why? And what led to this? Luna's redemption arc was teased since the early days of the show. As early as the first episode, Luna was portrayed as being a bored character who acted out for attention and had a complicated relationship with the PJ Masks. Despite Luna being a huge part of the PJ Masks' origin story in the books and the first villain in both the pilot pitch and the official pilot, Luna Girl makes the least appearances out of any villain in the show. However, she still ends up being the most plot-relevant villain, often teaming up with the PJ Masks and contributing to the general character of the show. I'm going to talk about it again. Gekko Saves Christmas. I'm sorry to bring it up again. I know you're probably sick of hearing about it, but this episode was huge for Luna's character, as it showcased a brand new side of her. After Luna makes this big, concerning declaration that she has no family or friends, the PJ Masks invite her to spend Christmas with them. She readily accepts this offer and actually gets along great with them, specifically Gekko, which becomes a recurring theme in the series. While you'd think this was a one-off Christmas truce like the other specials, Luna teams up with the PJ Masks to stop Romeo and Gekko in the Mighty Moon Problem, Owlette's Luna Trouble, and Moonbreaker. All in all, there are a total of 11 episodes in the series where Luna teams up with the PJ Masks. That comes out to at least 2 episodes per season. Just about every time they work together, the PJs invite Luna to join the team, but every time she insists on being their enemy. There are several times where Luna seems to actually enjoy spending time with the PJ Masks, specifically Owlette. And Owlette in The Giving Owl, Owlette gives a statue to Luna, and she still has it in season 4, by the way. In Catboy in the Lunar Dome, Luna essentially kidnaps the PJs to have a party with her. In Best Friends Forever, Luna and Owlette hang out, and Luna briefly considers continuing the friendship before Matsuki cuts the interaction short to remind Luna of her mission. And in PJ Party Crasher, Luna bullies Owlette until Owlette finally invites her to her sleepover. But wait, I'm not done. In addition to all of these episodes, there are shorts. In Moth's Day, Luna invites the PJ Masks to hang out. In Minding Matsuki, Luna asks Gekko for help babysitting her sister. And in Moonrocked, the PJ Masks actually throw a surprise birthday party for Luna. This is also just a funny random detail, but all of the villains have, like, official villain songs, and a friend pointed out that Luna's villain song is the only one in a major key. So the show follows this pattern. Luna is a menace, the PJs are nice to her, and then she completely chills out. However, this sort of development never really seems to go anywhere. I assumed that executives thought a morally gray character would be too difficult a concept for children to understand, which is what I thought until Armadillon showed up. I'll probably make a video on Armadillon another time, but it's enough to say that Armadillon is a morally gray character who was handled way worse than Luna. Despite his attempts to be a hero, he was almost always treated like a villain, until the fateful day when they sidelined his character for over 3 years. Although Luna's redemption arc could have worked in theory, in season 3 the show made a critical mistake. The episode Moth on the Moon introduced Matsuki, a moth that Luna turned into an anthropomorphic moth through moon magic. She refers to Matsuki as her little sister, and the two spend most of the show arguing, but for the most part they get along. So what's wrong with Matsuki besides her being extremely annoying and a major level threat? Well, before Matsuki, Luna's main motivation was boredom. After Matsuki was introduced, it got rid of that problem and left Luna with no clear motivation. Conflict came from the two arguing while causing mayhem for the sake of causing mayhem, but there were also moments where the sisters would just have tea parties, I guess. Every episode from there on out seemed really contrived and confusing compared to the previous Luna solo episodes. This brings us to season 5. In the beginning of what would become the worst season in the series, Luna and Matsuki had an argument that caused them to split ways. Yep, that means Matsuki would be living alone on the moon and Luna would once again be stranded on Earth. I was initially excited about this new development because it seemed obvious the direction they were taking with Luna. The setup was now exactly the same as it had been before Matsuki's introduction. Matsuki was the obstacle in Luna's path, and the writers had now removed that obstacle, allowing us to get back on track. However, that's not what happened in the slightest. In what is widely considered to be the worst season of PJ Masks, the storyline stayed stagnant from beginning to end until the sisters finally made up. I'm almost positive there was some kind of war between the writers and the executives, because if you watch that first episode, it just doesn't add up.
Looks like we've got more Luna trouble to come.
My guess is that the writers wanted to go somewhere with Luna's character, but executives stepped in and put an end to that because of the upcoming rebrand and Terrible Trio arc. I don't know. If there's any PJ Masks writers watching this, please let me know, because this has been eating me up for years. In the season 6 rebranding, PJ Masks became PJ Masks Power Heroes. The season, or new series, opened with an episode where the 3 original villains teamed up, nicknaming themselves the Terrible Trio. Now, I understand this decision. It showed that the show respected their roots while also introducing a brand new cast of characters. All the original villains got makeovers and the whole thing was pretty awesome, I won't lie. However, Luna's importance kept decreasing as the series went on, and the episodes she starred in were just lackluster at best, boring at worst. She no longer had a purpose to fill in the series, and her character seemed dumbed down and just boring. Although the Terrible Trio was cute and nostalgic, it still really wasn't the right choice for Luna's character development. She had wasted potential. In an ironic turn of events, the last episode of the season featured a brand new villain, Gloop III, being redeemed in a singular episode. Putting it gently, this event caused an uproar. So the character that's been on this path since day one can't have a redemption arc, but the character that was introduced just a few episodes ago can be redeemed immediately? This writing decision was frustrating to say the least, and I feel like it's safe to say that if season 7 does come to fruition, Gloop will most likely be sidelined. What could have been a smooth transition from villain to anti-villain was mercilessly butchered by a series of events that would eventually ruin Luna's character. However, she's still my favorite character, and I still consider her an anti-villain despite the direction that the show took. I'm sure a lot of you are furiously typing, "It's a kid's show, you're overthinking it. No way someone actually cares about this stupid show, you're an adult, grow up." Yes, as I sit here on my bed with my ramen typing this out, I realize how stupid it seems, and I probably am overthinking it. But at the end of the day, this is a show written by grown adults, and kids' shows have an infamous history of being overly complex. I mean, just watch any of Athena P's videos. Sure, PJ Masks is not a show that's necessarily known to be complex, but if you've seen my lore video, you know it has its moments. After all, kids aren't stupid, and believe it or not, they understand a lot more than adults give them credit for. After some time has passed, I recognize why they couldn't have given Luna the redemption arc she deserved. But damn it should have happened, and I will be salty about the way they massacred my girl till the end of time. Unfortunately, this is a hill I'm going to die on. If you feel the same way I do, meet me in the comments. Kevin out.